So we're continuing with our Master Duel. In this episode, what we're gonna do, right, is actually grind up a magical deck. We want a magic deck that's just broken, right? So when we talk about mages, in most cases when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh, you may find a mage as a spellcaster primarily, but you also find them as fairies. Sometimes they're illusion cards, sometimes they're just various other things, but for the most part it's spellcasters. Let's jump right into it. Now what we're gonna do is we need material, right? So we're gonna go into the story mode and grind up some materials so that we can get these up here, right? So we need to get, I'll show you guys what these are. I forgot the name of them. They're gems, I believe. Yeah, gems. So we need to get gems, right? So we have 168. Now you can easily collect gems doing verses. Sometimes, right? So it depends on your status. As you can see, we are not that high. We're at gold. Pardon me too. So as you can see, as you rank up, it will increase. But each tier level gives you 100. But the first tier level or the first tier within that tier segment gives you 200, right? For these. Wow. Yeah, so you get 300 for being a noob, then 200 once you become bronze, and then another one when you become silver, then gold, then platinum. But once you reach whatever this is beyond platinum, you get 250. So the rating goes up. Welcome to Infinite Rocket. Hopefully everything is going well for you guys. Hopefully your day is going smooth. But as you can see, no, that's not what I meant to go to. I meant to come here. The purple is diamond. So diamond tier is, you know, one tier before master. That's a thing. Anyway, so before we go into trying to build this magic deck, let me just show you guys what we have already, because we may have to delete some of these videos. So let's just get through that. These decks we kept, these duels we kept. Once it got to, so if you could look at the three main cards, it's the Monk of the Tenyi, Shaman of the Tenyi, and Draco Masters of the Tenyi. The Monk is just the heart of the entire deck. He evolves and does a bunch of stuff to keep himself protected. The Shaman is the healer slash destroyer. She's gonna resurrect anybody that was destroyed on our side, and she's gonna destroy y'all shit whenever we attack, right? And then when they combine, so the thing about when they combine, right, let's look at the deck. Let's break down this card, because it's a really cool card. This is the boss card from the Tenyi series, meaning that this is the card that has the summoning animation. Alright, cannot be destroyed by battle with an effect monster. So if it battles any other effect monster, it will not die by battle, right? If you control no other effect monsters, you can destroy effect monsters your opponent controls up to the number of non-effect monsters you control and or in the graveyard. And you can only use it once per time. So this ultimately, so what happens is, right, it's like it's trying to combine the two powers, right? So it cannot be destroyed by battle with the monster with the card effect. That not being destroyed by battle thing comes from this thing right here. It comes from this dragon. Right? It doesn't have the full power of that dragon. You see it's a Link 3 versus a Link 4. This is full power, and this is the full manifestation of this card itself, Ashuna. Alright, so anyways, what happens is this card is adopting these abilities between these two. This has the ability to resurrect and destroy a card. So what happens is, and this right here becomes immune to enemy effects, while we have this, right? And it cannot be attacked. Or this itself cannot be attacked. So you just kind of combine those type of theories of attacks, of effects, and then you have the Draco Masters of the Tenyi, right? So we can destroy cards because of the Shaman, and we cannot be destroyed because of the Monk in battle. But it can still be affected by other stuff. Alright, but this was a really good construct. I like this deck. 45 cards, 3 tires, 1 Moe. This was 3 Cerullas. This was really fluid. Alright, so almost always you're gonna get Cerulla and Taya, which you can use to bring out both Mula and the Grandmaster, right? Chisao. So you get both of these with that combination very easily. But let's not waste no more time, because the rest of these are very quick duels. This is the longest one we got. That one was actually pretty decent. But let's just look at what we got so far. We'll drop these videos. We'll get rid of them, and then we'll go into building this spellcaster deck. So let's see what's going on. Alright, so just off the rip, right? You see that we have Taya. Right now, if I'm not mistaken, let's double check this. Oh, so I was trying to see if I can look at my deck, but apparently I can't. But yeah. So we got Taya in our hand. We have Ahara. This can go for a link summon, which we can use to go ahead and synchro summon with Taya. Toon World. So it's our turn. Heavy Storm probably is first. Yep. Clear that. Let's see what he got. You can't play anything from there. He max sees us. So now he can draw a card every single time we special summon. So we're gonna special summon 1. He draws 1 card. He started off with 2 cards when he used that max C. Special summon again. He get another card. Yeah, 4. Normal summon. Special summon. You get another one. Special summon again. This is a synchro for Mula. He gets another card. We use Taya to put Ashuna in the grave, because Ashuna can special summon. Mind you, we never normal summon. Let's be clear. There's no normal summon yet for the turn. Special summon. Boom. We discard. Game. Bink. Bink. Double attack Mula. Alright. So that was fast and easy. Good thing about that duel, this guy did not forfeit, so we kind of want to give credit to that. The Dark Magician is shaking his head. He was going for a Toon type of deck, level 30, unfathomable. I guess that's what he wants to be. But that was a great duel. Level 30, we're level 23. We want to change these fists to something that is a bit better. Alright, we want to change that fist to something else. Alright, so we did that. Let's look at what they could have had, what they had in their deck. So this was a deck that was specifically built upon the combination of Red Eyes, Black Dragon, and the Dark Magician. So we got 1 Dark Magician, 1 Red Eyes, multiple variants. You got Burning Dragon. You know what's crazy? I was gonna put that in my deck, like in the deck I'm currently using. It's a Fire Dragon, which goes with my Fire Dragon concept, but I don't want to be too heavy on that and start bleeding into my Tenyi. You know, if this card is normal summon, normal or special summon, you can discard one spell card, destroy all spells and traps on the field. That's broken. Because I got plenty of ways to special summon this card, and I could just look, if your opponent has 2 or more cards, and this card's in your hand, you can special summon this card. So if they got 2 or more monsters, you special summon that and then just burn their field. Then I could just resurrect this thing and just keep blasting their spells and traps. But I think it's just a little bit too cheesy. I don't want to throw that in there. That's a great card though. Let's be clear. But then he has like a bunch of Red Eyes variants. Right? You got the Baby Dragon. You got the Wyvern. You got the Black Meteor Dragon. I've never seen this. Oh yes, I have. I'm bugging. I haven't used it that much. This Red Eyes is fucking broken, man. This shit looks. The artwork on this is insane, man. I ain't gonna hold it. Yeah, but so you got 2 Call by the Grave. Not mad about that. 2 Ashes, 2 Maxis. You know, I'm glad you don't have Imperm. But almost everything else is like generic hand traps. Everyone's running the same shit. He went, you know, Solemn Judgment that's a reach. When people run this card, I know for a fact that they're playing scary, right? Everything in this deck is like trying to avoid your opponent, like trying to stop them. I don't want them to do nothing. Mirror Force, Magic Cylinders. It's like stop. Yeah, you can't really do too much like that. Because what are you gonna do? You know, you just want to keep stopping them from doing stuff. But what are you trying to do? I guess his end game is Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. He can pop the field. He can pop monsters and damage me and still attack. He got the Tenyi. He got the Draco Berserker of the Tenyi. He has one of my cards against me. That's pretty cool. Anyway, so that's that. We're gonna get rid of that. Oh shit. I accidentally pushed triangle. But anyways, we're gonna get rid of that video and go on to the next one. Yes, Lord. This shit is that ghost. So, I'm gonna stop that. And we actually want to end the replay because that one we just saw already. So we're gonna pop this video, delete. Alright, so we go into this next one. This is 1 turn. So the rest of these duels are really fast, so we can just kind of skim through them. Now, if you notice, we have a different 3 card setup for our 3 main cards. Right? It's not the Monk of the Tenyi, the Shaman of the Tenyi, and the Draco Masters, because now there are 3 strategies in the deck and not just 1. However, with the addition of the other strategies, hold up. So let's look at what the new strategy is. One of them is this: Devotee of Nephthys. My goodness. Nephthys is a phoenix. Okay, now I love this card. So what I look at what I see when I look at this is like Obelisk, right? She has on the heavy blue, the royal blue. It's like a really strong sense of blue. Then she has the Pharaoh's like crown, the helmet of the Pharaoh, alright, that is given like God, like boss God, you know, and it's blue, so it's given Obelisk for me, even though I know this is not for the kid. This is actually to summon the Phoenix. This is Nephthys is a Phoenix. And if you don't know, if you haven't already noticed, you see my name right there, it's Phoenix. So when it comes to anything Phoenix related, I'm on that. Alright? You know that. Alright, so we do that. So this is a win card, right? Because we're flying, right? But let's just look at what happens after I play. Again, even with this addition, right? We got the Nepties. We also now have Soul Swords. Alright, Soul Swords. Sword Souls. I keep calling them Soul Swords. Anyways, we got the Sword Souls, right? Another addition to this deck that most people run the Sword Soul Tenyi combination, from what I've seen. We bring out Saruya. Ashuna brings out Shatana. Then we bring out Saruya. We bring out Mula. Now, here's the thing. So, at this moment, we have the Monk of the Tenyi, which by himself does not too much. It's just a normal monster, right? With 1,000 attack points. This card is useless for us because it is already banished, so it has no effect that can be used. However, when we look at what's currently in our graveyard, we have Shathana, right? Shathana says, if you control no effect monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. If a face-up non-effect monster you control, or monsters, right, it's parentheses of S, you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish this card from your hand or graveyard, then target one of those destroyed monsters, special summon it, then you can destroy one monster your opponent controls. So, if for whatever reason they find a way to destroy this monk, I can bring that monk back and destroy one of their monsters, right? Also, we have Mapora, right? If you control no effect monsters, you can special summon this monster. Special summon this card from your hand. When your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a face-up non-effect monster or monsters you control, which the Monk of the Tenyi is, right? Quick effect, meaning that this can be done on my turn or my opponent's turn, and it can be done in between actions. All right, you can banish this card from your graveyard, from your hand or graveyard, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. So I can protect him from one effect, right? If he's destroyed by battle or an effect, past that, I can bring him back anyways. Right, so we have two ways of ultimately protecting this card right now. Right, now with that being said, here's the addition. If this card is synchro summoned and 2 or more worm monsters are in your graveyard or in banishment, you can add 1 field card from your deck to your hand. So this is gonna change the turf. When he comes out, he changes the territory to whatever it is that he chooses. Okay, very brilliant card. Also, right, while a non-effect monster is face up on the field, this card gains these effects, these 3 effects. 1, cannot be destroyed by an opponent's card effect, so you cannot use anything to destroy this card as long as I have the Monk of the Tenyi on the field, and I will because I have 2 cards to keep him on the field, 2 cards to make certain that he stays alive. Right, now the second effect, your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. So not only can you not destroy him, you can't banish him, nor can you control this card, nor can you send it back to my hand or anywhere else. It cannot be targeted whatsoever. The third effect is that this card can make 2 attacks. It can make a second attack during each battle phase, which means ultimately we can deliver 6,000 damage with this one monster, right? In combination with this, that is 7,000 damage we have to possibly deliver before summoning anything else. Now it's our turn still. Should this card, either one of them, become targeted, you can't target this. So should you still find another way to possibly destroy this card after using these effects to protect it, we still have Heavenly Dragon Circle. You can tribute 1 monster, add 1 worm monster from your deck to your hand, or if you tributed a non-effect monster, which we would use this for if for some reason they got past the 2 ways to stop this from being destroyed, right? you can special summon it instead, but negate its effect. So if we would special summon that monster. If they found a way to kill this card anyways, we would special summon another Tenyi monster, link summon that monster right back into the Monk of the Tenyi. Alright, as you can see, we have more than one Monk of the Tenyi. Okay, so we can bring him right back out. Just making it clear so you can understand what's happening already. Oh, also, Saruya goes to the graveyard, and she allows for us to bring out a Link material monster, but we have to pay life points depending on how much the Link rating, right? So we can go for 4, 3, 2, or 1, right? So we can actually, we could probably bring out this monster too. But what we want to do is 4, which is going to make us pay 4,000 life points. But here's the thing. While you control a face-up non-effect monster, monsters your opponent controls cannot target effect monsters for attacks. Which means that as long as the monk is on the field, you cannot attack my monsters at all, except for the Monk of the Tenyi, right? Also, your opponents cannot target effect monsters on the field with card effects, whether it's from monsters, spells, or traps. You cannot even target them. You can use effects on them, but it has to be a blanket effect. Alright? Quick effect. You can target one effect monster your opponent controls, special summon one Tenyi spirit token. Which means that this is now a Tenyi monster which can be used to link summon the Tenyi, the Monk of the Tenyi, right? Or any other thing. And it's a worm, a light monster, level 4, right? So it goes right into its synchro capabilities, because most of them require most of the synchro monsters are level 8 synchro monsters, and Saruya is our tuner, which is a level 4. 4 and 4 is 8. It makes it easier for us to pull into those, right? This token's attack becomes the targeted monster's original attack. That's insane. So now I can copy your monster and use that as further protection, and also as a extended attack, right? Board is protected. They forfeit. Because at this point, the board is protected. There's nothing really you can... These 3 cards protect themselves. I mean, protect each other. And then when I use the Soul Sword, it's to extend the play. And 9 times out of 10, you know, you're going to go for the Grandmaster Chisao, which is going to negate a monster's effects. We, you know, or we could have even gone for Long Wan, which would have given us damage to their life points, and then more damage every time they use an effect, right? So we cleared that one up. That was a pretty... Let's look at the level of this duelist, level 15. He has 7 followers. So this is probably an extended account, because they're not following anyone, but they already have followers. So it's a good chance that they this is like a secondary account for them. They have other accounts. We can look at our deck so you can see what that's about. So pretty much, as you guys can see, nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. We just want to be able to pull into Moolah. Gotta pull into Moolah, man. That's the primary strategy. Everything else is a connection or extension of that. But yeah, we'll get rid of that. That was great though. Great dueling. Next one. This is a Malice deck. Wow, the Malice cards are pretty damn annoying sometimes. That can be quite the annoyance. So It's us first. Let's see. So again, don't forget the strategy. When it comes to dueling, you can't get discouraged and think, oh, I should do this now, I should do that. We bring out Mo Yi. Mo Yi gives us a token. He forfeits. Alright? Because the thing is, we're going to go for Moolah, then the combo is extended. The combo goes in. If they feel like they can't break the combo, they're going to forfeit. We played one monster, and that was that. That was kind of sad. Not the biggest fan of how that duel went. Let's look at what they had in their deck to see why they felt there was no need to duel. Malice. Okay, so we can easily shut down the Malice deck. This is a typical Malice deck too. This is what I see almost every not this monster, but this is what I see almost every duelist play, right? We have Link Decoder. We got Lingaribo. Wait, what? This is not Link Karibo. Lingaribo? Am I... What? This is a different card. Right here. What the fuck? What a Leviathan. What the fuck? Whatever. Anyways, yeah, they always go for Link Decoder, Splash Mage, SP Little Knight. That's like the must-haves. Then they got Appaloosa, another must-have. It's like Decode Talker, Firewall Dragon. Everyone uses that same fucking sequence of extra deck monsters. 3 Imperms. Look at this shit, man. It's a sad-ass dueling deck. Let me be honest with you. 40 cards. So basically what happens is you rush into countering your opponent. Right, 3 Imperms, 2 Call by the Graves, Crossout Designator. I don't even... Nobleman and Crossout was the original card for this. This is like a new version of Nobleman and Crossout. The quick play limited version. Or restricted. Yeah. Limited. I can't remember which one is which. One of them is I think limited is 2 and restricted is 1. I can't remember which one is which. But anyways, yeah, look at this. It's just a bunch of, you know, some Malice cards. Ashes, 3 ashes, 3 of these bubbles. Like, damn, man, like, play something that's gonna actually do something. But anyways, I guess they didn't have enough to stop that. So let's just get off of that. We will delete. None of these decks are really worth keeping like that. None of these duels, I mean. We'll look at this one. Alright, 3 cards face down. Cool beans. So, first step is he's gonna banish our card. He got rid of that monster. Shithana, I believe. Right? He got rid of Shithana? Yeah, so he got rid of Shithana. We need that card. That is a big plus in our combat. But we bring out Longwan, and Longwan comes out. We're gonna put that card back in his hand with my boy. We bring out the big chief. We bring out the big chief. Vishuddha put that card back in his hand. Vishuddha's a great card. It's to represent the darkness of the Tenyi. Such an amazing card. Now here's the thing. This deck, if you look at the title of it, it's called Jura Kung Fu. And that's because this deck is based off my combat style. martial arts, alright, which is called Duel Kung Fu. Within it, there's a few different aspects that should be noted. Alright, first of all, Duel Kung Fu translates to the way of the phoenix. Alright, so we will resurrect, we will continuously go, no matter what it is. And that's in terms of physical combat, in terms of your health, your emotional stability, your mental stability, your financial standings, relationships, anything that it is in your life. Once you reach a low, or once you feel defeated, the art of Duel Kung Fu is to remember we are never truly defeated. So we just rebirth that ambition and we continue to move forward regardless of the fact. Alright, one thing you should realize is that in order for me to create this art, I had to work very, very hard with my best friend and brother, right? Who believes that the way to become the most powerful in combat was to have darkness, to harbor darkness, and to use that to become even more powerful. And for a while, that actually did serve its purpose. All right. So the symbolism of that transaction and experience in my deck is as such. This is me, the monk of the Tenyi. All right. The point of being a monk is to be humble, reserved, and aim not to try to necessarily hurt your opponent. Because now, you don't want to harm without cause. That's the key. It doesn't mean that you do not harm at all. You don't want to harm without cause, so that means that there has to be some type of effect that is disturbing peace, which causes you to go into an aggressive state. Right? Now, in the beginning of my martial arts, I would use earth elemental combat. Right? The very first things I've ever learned in terms of martial arts is 4 different things. First, brawling. Alright? Growing up in New York, growing up in Brooklyn, we had a lot of random brawls, right? Within the families, within the streets, within random situations. You just gotta fight, right? That's first. But that's earthly, right? You just crash into things. You look at, you may even sometimes brawling or brawlers are also environmental fighters because they'll grab things in the environment to help aid the combat, which is one of the things that I would do as well, given the proper situation. But past that, I couldn't find efficiency in brawling for my permanent success because I got sisters, a lot of family members that I really had to protect, right? So I wanted to advance beyond that, and I started to train with some of my older cousins that I knew were already stronger than me, but it still was earthly. And that was bringing us to wrestling, right? Especially at that time, there was WWE, a lot of wrestling federations where people watched a lot of wrestling. And at home, we would practice those skills, And in most cases, it left me vulnerable to my cousin slamming me or throwing me somewhere. But I got used to being damaged, and also it made me harness the strength to be able to challenge someone stronger than me, right? But that still was a bit sloppy. The first half of the earth was sloppy, and this is also partially why the attack points is where it's at. The third thing earthly that I added to myself for my initial combat was boxing. All right, so I ended up moving to Brownsville, and there's a gym in Brownsville, Cephalon Projects, that was also the gym that Mike Tyson trained at when he first started boxing. So once I heard of it, and I grew up 365 Sacman Street. I was right up the street from that gym. It's in our projects over there, Ceplo Project. So once I found that out, I went to that gym and I started training in that gym as a boxer because I wanted. Muhammad Ali is the GOAT, but my personal inspiration as a boxer was Mike Tyson because he's from Brooklyn, he's from my neighborhood, and he fights. He knocked niggas out. It was no problem. He's considered the toughest guy on the planet, so it was inspiration for me because at that time I was a bit timid when it came to combat. The fourth thing I learned was from a karate master in New Jersey. He taught me a very basic karate kata. I wanted to train with him, but I didn't have the funds. I might have been 14 or 15. He told me that the only way I could train with him was if I was able to learn that kata and come back to him the next day with it fully mastered, and then I could train for free. If I didn't, I had to pay for it. I practiced that kata over and over and over. But mind you, at this point, I'm homeless. I was a runaway. Alright? But those four things came together and they gave me a sense of earthly quality. As you can see, the monk of the Tenyi has earth as his attribute. I could have built this deck in any type of way, but this really speaks to my combat. Again, the person who was paired with me to help me create this art. Those four things were the things that I had going into martial arts. That's what I used to say, you know what? I'm going to become a fighter. Before then, I had no idea I wanted to fight. I may have fought for protecting other people or whatever the case, but I never had a purpose or like a desire to actually become a fighter before I gained those four earthly qualities. External combat, right? I meet my brother Key, and he was more concerned with the damage that can be delivered to the opponent. How much damage can we deal? So most of the techniques that he wanted to train or study were ways that we could find a way to hurt the enemy. Okay? So I'm dealing 1,000 damage. Alright? Now this is my brother Key. Okay? Who is at 3,000. So 1,000 versus 3,000. A lot more powerful. Different concepts. So you look at the monk again, and if you can notice, the monk is very slim bodied, right? Very agile looking, because that's my approach to combat. I like to use speed to possibly evade my opponent or multi-strike my opponent. Okay, that's very essential for me. I like to either get away from attack quick enough or strike you faster than you can respond to my attack. Okay, Key on the other hand does not emphasize speed in his combat. He prefers to use grappling arts, so his moves will be more crippling, demobilizing, and it's just pure strength. At one point during our training sessions, it might have been for a year, he grew out his nails, his actual nails, and would use nail clippers to cut his nails into triangles, right? Like these link marks, so that way he can claw you, right? As you can see with this guy, and if you don't believe it, look up Jura Kung Fu on YouTube. I'll have him commentate on there as well. And he can verify this. This guy literally had claw-like hands, right? And this is key for me, man. This is key. The darkness. From the beginning, he had like this drive towards darkness. When we started training further in martial arts, we would study the philosophies of 3 major animes: Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, and the Avatar, The Last Airbender. Okay, from Naruto, I respected the most Hashirama who's also earth, right? Earth, light, fire type energy. Which is ironic because we'll get to that part. But earth, light, and fire, you'll see why I'm saying that. But also, he was more impressed with Madara. You know, and he always told me that, you know, he valued the fact that Sasuke used anger to fuel his power. So he always told me, listen, man, we both can't be the same way. This is jewels that he dropped on me. We both can't be the same way. You want to be positive, you want to have a heart for people and care for everybody and stuff like that. So because of that, I'm going to think the opposite way. I'm going to say fuck everybody. I don't care about nobody. I'm just going to fuel hatred because that's going to be how I'm going to be able to rival your power. Now, initially, I thought it was a little bit insane. I'm not going to lie. I thought the nigga was just losing his mind. But I did know that if it got too crazy, that's my brother. So we can come back to reality in terms of, like, whatever else. But it actually worked. He became a way better fighter than I expected and grew very rapidly and was very easily able to rival my combat prowess. Right? And so when it came to training people and stuff like that, a lot of people were intimidated by his combat because he didn't have the same resolve. Like, he wouldn't be lenient with the student. He would just beat your ass and then you learn or you don't learn, right? But it doesn't mean he's evil. This is still my brother. And that's the reason why he's still in the deck, right? This is just a very powerful thing. Now, what happens next is so this is just the normal form. Eventually, you know, we train the different elements, like water being Tai Chi. This represents the training that we did in Tai Chi. The air represents Bagua Zhang, fire for Shaolin, and the earth for Hung Gar. These are all actual arts that we train and teach as well. So we come back here, and here's the thing, right? The art is great, being able to fight, but I've always had with that another reason why we win in combat is because it's not just hand-to-hand combat. It's not just about punching and kicking, alright? So the shaman of the Tenyi is about being able to use magical energy. Okay, magic is something that is incorporated with this kung fu. Okay, very, very heavily. This card itself is a representation of my queen, man. My lady right now. Alright. When you study the story of the Tenyi, it says that this card right here, the shaman, is the closest to becoming the unflawed, the flawless is the same difference, but the flawless Tenyi, right? So this card is the closest. Why? Because she can control 3 separate spirits. In other words, she can multitask. She can handle 3 different energies at once. Okay? But furthermore, the key to effect, what's the effect? Resurrection. Okay? Jurao Kung Fu is about healing. It's about bringing back. It's about coming back and not being silenced. Alright? But also, she can destroy a car on the field when we attack. Why? Because we want to break spells. Alright? Jurao Kung Fu is also about not being entranced by anything. Not allowing someone to put spells on you and trick you out of who you are. Because a lot of times that happens in life. People will try to trick you out of who you are as a person. Alright? Now, us together, Draco Masters of the Tenyi. Okay, Draco is in reference to the dragon. Alright? Now, I told you guys before, dragons are a major part of what helped create this art, because one, we watched Dragon Ball Z and study its philosophies. Also, Bruce Lee's animal symbol or spiritual symbol was the dragon, and that is my primary motivation for martial arts. Alright, it is Bruce Lee that ultimately made it so that I realized I could also reach that level. Before then, it just was something that was cool or funny. Either I thought it was some shit that's never gonna work in real life and I could just laugh at the people, but sometimes it was cool to see the precision of people blocking and then counterattacking and stuff like that. But I just never took it real. I never took it like it's something that can actually happen, because in my life it didn't. It never really happened like that until I trained Kung Fu. Right? This card is the spirit of Kung Fu itself. Alright, so before this, while I was the monk of the Tenyi, I was stepping into Kung Fu. Right? The first form of Kung Fu I've ever trained was Tai Chi. Okay? At this point, I'm just now getting into the fact that combat is deeper than the physical. It's not just punching and kicking. You know, there's energy that is existing within everything, and those energies can be manipulated. I did not know nor understand that at the time. But this right here is what brings that to an existence. You see, we got the Buddha beads around the neck. This is Kung Fu, right? This is the height of Kung Fu, right? Love, respect, and understanding. Okay, you can slightly see a heart on the center of the dragon's stomach, right? Respect and understanding. Bam. So with respect and understanding, you kind of eliminate most of your issues in life in general. And this card it's a light card. That's why it's love. Right? But the love allows for us to protect ourselves and to see within ourselves whoever our opponent is. Right? We can see them within ourselves. So whenever our opponent brings out a monster, we can copy that monster because we love them. You see? So we can recognize ourselves in them, and we can recognize them within ourselves. No problem. But we use that for protection. Right? So by understanding our opponent or whoever, it could be ally, but by understanding them, you neutralize a lot of things that could have went wrong. Right? You take away a lot of problems that you could have had in your life. The dragon is, and now also, before we get into that, this is the evolution. This is once we fully mastered Kung Fu. And it is never something to be fully mastered. It's a lifetime lifestyle. So you train forever, you build forever, you keep growing forever. Alright, but this is once Kung Fu has fully set in. Right? Once we have an establishment of the 4 elements, and we kind of got some balance between fire, water, earth, and air. Now we reach light. We reach the concept of love. So it's not about picking any one element. At first it was earth, even though we're fire. I'm a fire sign. Okay? Which is still expressed, because like I told you before, I have an affinity towards fire. This is the phoenix, right? Cerulean sacred phoenix of Nephthys. So you can see it's a blue flamed dragon, blue flamed phoenix. Fire. The attribute is fire, as you can see on top. But before we even get to that, this right here Sengenpai, Transcendent Dragon. This is a 3-headed dragon, right? And this dragon is a symbolic representation of what I personally gained from Shaolin. Like, granted, it's 3 different dragons, and it can low-key represent 3 different aspects, but one thing I gained from one of the most important things I gained from Shaolin was strategy. And one of those strategies is continuous attack. I remember that effortlessly, because that was just a great concept. It changed how I looked at fighting in itself. Granted, everyone goes for continuous attack naturally, right? People just start punching, but not with strategy. They just attack and like trying to hope that they can hit you first. You know, hope you don't hit them and all of this shit, right? But the thing is this represents that for me, right? I want to attack you, and attack you, and keep on attacking, and keep on attacking. Now, the thing is the red one, the red dragon pulls out another dragon. So, it's like a lead strike. That strike comes, then my next strike comes, then my next strike comes. Alright? The red dragon is a lead strike. The white or yellow dragon makes sure that we take no damage. Right? So while I'm hitting you, I don't take damage. I'm using chi. You see? That green dragon makes sure that you cannot, none of your dragons can be destroyed by battle. So no matter what, they all stay alive. So yellow means no battle damage. Green means they don't die. Red means you bring out another one. Then they can synchro summon and keep going. So basically, you get about 5 attacks off of one monster's attack. Ultimately, alright? We could start off with the red dragon. That dragon could come out and keep on attacking until all of these dragons are out. And then, yeah, that's that. Very broken system. But this is, again, fire. It's for the Shaolin, it's the heart of the fire part of the deck. Shaolin is primarily my most advanced art, personally. So that's why you see this deck has more fire than anything else. There's a blend of every other art, but fire is what's dominant for me. Now I showed you my evolution, but this is the thing. So we went from 1,000 to 3,000, right? Then also my brother Key, he has 3,000, but here's the difference. He got 3,000 with no effects, and then he evolves into 3,000 with an effect. So ultimately, he doesn't gain attack strength with his transformation initially. But what he does is he gains the ability to do other things, right? Still keeps the darkness. When your opponent activates a monster effect, it's a quick effect, you can banish it. One of the things that he was good for was sometimes we would travel, we'd be fighting random people, different cities, different states, different dojos, sometimes in the streets, in the hoods, or whatever. But we not only did we fight a lot of people, but we helped a lot of people as well. So sometimes people would run sympathy on me, or like, sob stories and stuff like that, and Key was not really too fond of those things. So what he would do is he would banish them. He would dismiss it. He would remind me like, yo bro, we got this shit. You don't, so we would leave. We would disappear from a lot of that stuff. So he got rid of a lot of things. That was one of his things, was to like get rid of what wasn't serving us. And I respect that. And I very, very highly appreciate those efforts. If this attacking card destroys an effect monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, right? This card gains attack equal to the destroyed monster's attack. Also, it can make a second attack on a monster this turn. So this card could potentially attack twice, because again, Key and I use the same combat system. It just went 2 different ways about it, right? So for me, I took the art into having a flawless perfection, right? Like the field card. I took it more into flawless perfection, meaning my aim was to continuously grow, right? And that is to make it so that we can keep growing until, forever. It's just to continuously keep growing. Flawless perfection is to know that you're not maxed out and there's always more room to grow. You can always advance beyond that, right? Key's concept was a little bit different, but it's using the same art. His concept was, this art is pretty much unrivaled. Like I said before, we fought plenty of people, and I've never gone to any dojo, street fight, jail fight, whatever the case, and taken an L. I've gone in this and beat them time after time after time after time. And also, Key has also beaten these people time after time after time after time. So, from his perspective, I can understand why he feels it's unrivaled. Because we just kept beating people and it seemed like there's no rivalry to the art, right? Because we just keep winning. However, I don't personally feel that the art is unrivaled. Because, for one, I'm currently 35, right? I began developing this art when I was probably 21. So that's 14 years of putting things together in the combat. But 14 years, this art set's been around for hundreds of years, right? And so there's a lot more work that needs to be put into this. I don't think that the art is nowhere near its completion. So there's a lot more to do to that. The Grandmaster, because now I am a Grandmaster. After all of this training and teaching, I have students who are now masters with students. Okay. And this effect is also to banish a card and negate my opponent's ability to use an effect. Once again, the energy is light. Okay. Now, here's the tricky part. The Sword Souls, right? Supreme Sovereign. Now, extending further, I am also a weapons master. However, Key is better at weapon mastery than I am. So therefore, we're back to this position. Now, as you can see, my boy got the tail and all of that. This is a great sword, right? Which requires great strength. Right here we have, pardon, no sword, right? It's hand to hand. Okay. Reason being, even though this is a sinister sovereign, let's be clear on what's going on. So it's a sinister sovereign. Sovereign meaning that you are, of your own, right? You're within your own authority, right? So you could be a ruler. This could be a ruler. But in the beginning of our endeavors, I was still attached to the streets, right? I still was, while we was training and stuff like that, I still had a lot of street activity, a lot of criminal stuff I was still getting involved in. So because of that, I was this is me in the deck in terms of the sword souls, right? No weapon. It's a sword soul, but I'm using it's weaponry. But if you look at it, he has gauntlets, so it's like hand in hand. It's like that was more of my approach for weaponry. I'm just gonna find another way to just hurt you without having to use. We use shuriken a lot. Which I can see as the extended, the tail, this you know, the tail, the way that looks. Now, Ki is the sword soul leader of this deck, right? Because Ying is a water element, and so is Ki. He's water on fire, right? And this is also strength. He's a bit stronger than me when it comes to the weapon mastery, right? But these cards also work together in synchronicity. So the Moolah makes sure he can't be attacked. I mean, can't be affected by stuff. And then him in combination with the Draco, you know, they activate an effect. You banish them, and then they both can attack twice. So that them two together makes 4 attacks potentially. If you have monsters, that's broken. If you got 2 monsters, we can attack 4 times. That is with 3,000, and one of which gets stronger after attacking. Right? So, but the Sword Soul combination is a bit different. One will, every time you activate a monster effect, and also, see this right here, right? It says if this card will be destroyed. So Ki, one thing about him, he made sure not to be destroyed, right? With durability. That's one thing I could say. I remember one time, him and this guy Moody were just slapping each other back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, you know. And it's like, one thing that he trained was to be able to take hits and not be destroyed by them. And for me, and that's something he gained from me. That's like a quality that he earned from training with me. For me, I've learned to stop my opponent from doing things to me. I used to just allow it because I didn't care. I felt like I could just deal with whatever. Do what you're going to do because I can endure it. But I learned from Ki not to always allow things to go. So that's where this ability comes in. This deck is very, very symbolic to what has already played in real life. And then of course we have the Phoenix is the last piece of what's going on. Nephthys, the Sacred Preserver. I've learned to preserve everything. Knowledge, relationships, resources, I've learned to preserve. So this right here is me kind of giving myself homage for that capability. And then evolving that to Nephthys, the Sacred Flame. This is ultimately the second wind capability that is in the art. The Phoenix, everything involved in this personal archetype right here deals with resurrecting, and that is where we develop our second breath, right? Anyone can defeat anyone, right? Anyone can hit you or damage you, but in real life you need to be able to have a way to recover. That is the primary focus of Jura Kung Fu, being able to recover. In terms of the combat capabilities, the ultimate goal is to master love, right? But in terms of combat capabilities, we want to be able to recover. That's a very, very essential thing for this deck, for the combat system, and also for this deck, right? So now that that's said, that was very, very, very long-winded, but let's get back to the duel, right? Let's see where we at with it. So far we got Master Ki on the battlefield. He forfeits. So Ki makes him quit. out of there. But I'm pissed off because we couldn't really do too much. Wish we could have did a lot more with that, but Sun gave up, and it's like, two Dark Magicians, Red Eyes, Lancer, pardon me, Lancia, not Lancer, but Lance. We got two Lanciers. Listen, this deck is as typical as it possibly could get. It's screaming for board wipes, right? It's just everything to stop everything. Is this with two different cards? Yep. So this is funny. I faced this card, right? It could double the damage, and you can fuse it with any two cards. So what they normally do to bring out this is use super polymerization, which in Master Duel is unlimited. That is fucking crazy. In Duel Links, there is a restriction. You're gonna have one of those in your deck. To have as much as you want is crazy. You got 3 Soul Servants, so you can put anything you want on top of your deck. You got the Primate. Primate. This is another popular dragon. You got Nibiru because he can stop your opponent from playing. He can stop your opponent from summoning too many cards. We got 3 Ashes, 3 Imperms. It's like, this is too predictable, man. It's like everyone's running the same shit. This punk ass, it's like all of this is the same exact cards. Like, they don't even go together. At all. Like, granted, my deck has a bunch of different cards in there, right? But they go together though. Like, for example, Ash is a zombie tuner monster that you're never going to use. There's no synchro monsters in this deck whatsoever. Right? You're just using it as a hand trap. Okay? That's chasing, man. And the proportions of the deck is fucked up because of that. It's chasing. Too much chasing. Let's get out of that. Alright? Like, let me just show you guys what I mean. There isn't one hand trap. Now, the Tenyi deck itself kind of works as hand traps, but it's fixing the archetype. It's not random cards that could just stop anything. It's cards that go within a certain system, put together. It took a lot of work building this deck too, because it's not only had I have to make it cohesive within itself, but I also wanted this deck to tell the story of my martial arts journey. From the beginning of my martial arts to where I'm at currently and beyond, this deck tells the entire story and is cohesive and is following a lot of restrictions, you know, and still makes niggas quit. It's still, so it's like, you know, it's telling a lot of the story, man. You know, Egypt is a really big influence in my life in so many different ways. All of this stuff is just, it's like really giving you how I came into the world of martial arts and where I am right now, where I stand. Right? But anyways, we're gonna pop that one because that was another wasted deck. So we got 2 more to go. But luckily we gave that breakdown, so we don't need to do the martial arts breakdown no more. You guys know what the Tenyi are all about, and that's the best part. This might have been our most complex duel in this right here. So this Dark Magician and Slifer on the field is very, very, you know, he doesn't want nothing to get summoned except for dark monsters, right? That's what this card does. So there's barrier statues, right? That block out every other element or attribute except for themselves, and this one is the dark one. So nobody can summon anything except for dark monsters in terms of a special summon. So he blocks out my Saruya. He blocks out my Sacred Phoenix. He blocks out my Phoenix the Devotee. So we use Everyone's Sun to get a Tempai. We play Pedra to get Sangan Summoning. Now he can't use no effects on my monsters. You get rid of the Tenyi, flawless Tenyi, you get it back from Evan's son. We battle. We kill that monster. Main phase 2, we special summon. Chandra. He goes to fuse, he pops both of our monsters. Boom. He makes it the same card I was just telling you guys about. This is the card I was just saying. So people go into this strategy, they use the super polymerization. You discard one card from your hand, fusion summon one fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from either side of the field as material, and neither player can activate cards or effects in response to this card's activation. This cannot be countered. It's a quick play spell that cannot be countered, and it fuses any monster from your side or my side of the field. Alright, cool. You see what monster? I can't play nothing in my time. His turn. He swings at me, double damage, 15 turns to 3,000. Alright. Now I could have played more. I chose not to. Alright, now. This is where it gets a little bit disrespectful. Now you see the pre-preparation of rights. There's 7 cards in this deck that connects to the Nephthys combo, right? And Nephthys is the Phoenix. Those 7 cards represent the 7 days and the Flight of the Phoenix training that you guys can find on Jura Kung Fu on YouTube. All right. So there's 7 steps to having the Phoenix energy. Yeah, I believe in terms of combat training. I mean, pardon me, in terms of physical training. So, phase 1. We're gonna get this dragon, discard flawless, bring flawless back from the other sun. Alright, we bring out the dragon. Because we want to, see the thing is, we need to make him use as many effects as possible so that on banishing, because we don't need the Phoenix to be banished. We can deal with them being destroyed. We cannot allow for them to be banished, because if they're banished, then we don't gain the effects. So we go into attack. He imperms. He imperms Chandra. He imperms Chandra. Infinite impermanence on Chandra, which can no longer use his effects. Alright, but that's okay. We don't need that effect. Boom. Smack for 1,000. He draws a card. Smack for 16. Synchro. Now, here's the thing. When I swung with this, I made a mistake. I couldn't have brought a dragon from my graveyard. I could have brought this guy back out. Alright, but either way, I would have been blocked out of using the synchro. This right here is an additional 1,700. So we could have gave him 1,700 and dropped him down to 3,000. But we didn't do that. So because we didn't, and because we realized he has 1 card on the field, 1 card in hand, and there's no graveyard effects, right, that can be used. Maybe this is a graveyard. Yeah, there's no graveyard effects. So what we do from there is we activate the preparation of rights. This is going to give us the Phoenix. So we use Rebirth of Nephthys, and we resurrect the Phoenix. Nephthys on the field. And in that turn, he scoops. He scoops. Listen, if you pop the Phoenix, it's gonna come back and it's gonna destroy all your shit. Alright. You can't attack the dragons. If you pop the if you kill any of the monsters, it's gonna heal me off of it. That shit was just fucked up. I'm not gonna lie, that was really a fucked up duel. We'll delete that. Actually, let's look at his deck, see if he had anything going on. Oh man, Maxie's, Jill and Lockbird, right? That's another one. It's just this is a counter deck. Everyone runs the same shit. We got Effect Veiler, 3 Drill and Lockbirds, 2 Maxie's. This Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit is another card. It's another hand trap, right? You can send this card to destroy that card. When your opponent activates an effect, or when a spell or trap card that is already on the field activates effect. So you can, so it's another hand trap that just pops out some shit. All right, we got 3 ashes, some more hand traps. We got Gazelle is tricky to have Gazelle in your hand. Oh, because he got the illusion deck. All right, so they got the Birthman deck, but it's like everything is, ooh, what the fuck, nigga? That shit looks fire. It's a tree. It's a possessed tree. Nah, that nigga is fire. I ain't gonna hold you. I low-key wanted to add that shit to my favorites just now. But anyways, that's besides the point, man. It's all good. Anyways, this nigga sucks, man. You know, he got 3 of these Chaos Hunters to block your opponent for. It's like all this blocking shit. 3 Imperms. This is all this blocking shit. 3 super power. You can't play nothing when you got all of this shit. You just put all of the same. That's just stupid. I don't know, man. It teaches on. I can't run no deck like that. Just keep blocking everybody. It's scary, man. Stop playing scary. This is the last one. Let's look at this replay. The last duel in the list. Let's see what we got. We played Tenyi Infinity. Special summon Nahada. Imperm. Okay, let me tell you something, right? Let me just teach y'all. First of all, you do not start chasing effects, alright? Why the fuck are you gonna use the Imperm? Now, mind you, this is a duelist. There's a Dark Magician icon, right? A Dark Magician icon you have to earn. You cannot buy the Dark Magician icon. You gotta earn that shit. I have it on this account as well, but I had to use Dark Magician a lot to earn that. I have a Dark Magician account, and I don't even have that icon for my Dark Magician account because you have to do so much to earn that shit. I don't remember what it was that you had to do. Alright, you have the Gaia the Fierce Knight, which was a 2023 thing. I didn't even play Master Duel in 2023. I started playing that shit this year, or the beginning of last year, maybe. I think it was the beginning of last year. So, which was 24. And I wasn't even playing consistently. I played enough on this account so that I could build a deck to face my brother, EA, who I will link in this video. I faced EA, and then from there I haven't played this. I've been playing Duel Links. I got back in it because me and my wife played now, and so, you know. But my point is that this person has been playing since before I've been playing this game. Alright? And I might have played Yu-Gi-Oh! Before them. But and this card is popular in this series. I have not played the actual TCG in years. So a lot of these cards I'm only learning about in this game, in Master Duel. But I know enough to know not to fiend for stuff. You use infinite impermanence. First of all, if we look at that card, that looks like the Cyber Nova Dragon. People take any card from any deck and put it in any deck. That shit is stupid. Alright, now with this card, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls, negate its effects until the end of this turn. Then, if this card was set before its activation, and it's on the field at the resolution, for the rest of this turn, all other spell or trap effects in this column are negated. So if you control no cards, you can activate this card from your hand. So you can hand trap. But here's the thing, you hand trapped, you impermed Nahada, whose effect has already been used. The effect was to summon itself. That was the effect. So now you stop that from happening, and then okay, now what? I'm gonna link summon him into the Monk of the Tenyi. Now, once we use the Monk, we're gonna go for the Vessel of the Dragon Cycle. This is entering the darkness. Alright? This is dark meditation. Pondering upon dark thoughts. right? But as you can see, those dark thoughts is being cleansed out because he's meditating. That dark spirit is trying to tempt him. You see? That's Vashuddha. Now, it's a vessel for the dragon cycle, meaning Vashuddha is gonna take the body of the berserker. It's gonna enter the body of the berserker to evolve him into a dragon. But once I play Saruya, it's game because they know that the next step is Mullah. Mullah comes out to protect, and then also Saruya brings out the Link 4, and then that's game, right? It's a bit crazy how consistent that is. Now, to be honest with you, I don't like having those fists. So we're gonna change accessories. I don't like having the fist as a mate. And I did not. I wanted to use this. This is actually called boxing. It's not called fist. Gloves indispensable for any boxer. Okay. One must carefully plan each hit with victory in mind instead of raining down on their opponent recklessly. That's true. You gotta be careful. So I do like that. Right. Legend speaks of a ninja who excelled in the art of espionage, having trained countless days and nights to hone their skill. Their ninjutsu mastery was admired by countless other ninjas who aspired to be just as deft. Alright, we're gonna go with this actually. Alright. Now, with that, like that, what we're gonna do is come out of here, and now that you guys seen the potential of that deck, what we want to do is we want to complete one of these series, right? So we could go for this legacy, but if I'm not mistaken, that Royal Legacy is a bit long. So we'll come here to be enforcers of justice, which apparently we've already been whipping. So we pretty much beat that one. What we're gonna go for is actually the Weather Fairies. Alright, let's get into it. Alright, so we're back. My fault, guys. I had to go ahead and, grab me a little snackety snack. It's still in the process, though. We're not all the way done right now. But anyways, let's get back to the story so we can know what's going on. Mind you, we are building a deck that deals with magical essence, right? Because now we are also on a journey to evolve our magical skills. We want to increase our magical prowess, okay? And this is being established through the great works of my wife, all right? She's an amazing person, okay? When it comes to magic, there's a few things that you need to have within yourself or access to in order for you to be efficient when it comes to the arts. You need to have three things primarily, right? Bravery, knowledge, and empathy in terms of attributes. All right. Knowledge is a key factor. And one thing I can say about my queen, we're gonna come fix this food up for a second. So you guys may hear a little bit of some noise in the background. Actually, hold up. Yeah, it's okay. I'll let you listen to this. So I'm gonna rinse out this, this fork real quick. So anyways, my point is that you need bravery, knowledge, and empathy. The bravery is in reference to your personal courage. Now that right there, your bravery, your courage. Why does that matter when it comes to magic? Here's the thing. In most cases, especially in today's world, it takes bravery in itself to even decide to practice magic. Because most people are going to look at you like you're crazy. Most people are going to tell you that magic does not exist. There is no such thing as magic. Alright? These people are people who are either institutionalized and indoctrinated by American literature and media sources, for the most part. Because of that, you need to be very brave. You need to be extremely brave to practice magic. You have to be able to ignore being ostracized by people. My wife is very brave. And one of the things I also value about her is that she has a high sense of bravery. To be brave is to be afraid and still continue. To have fear but not be crippled by it. That's bravery. We all are afraid of something. Everyone has some type of fears. But when you're facing your fears, if you're able to move still, then you're brave. If you're facing your fears and it shuts you down, then you're maybe not so brave. Alright, now, intelligence. Knowing and the ability to learn. That's something else that she's very strong at. Lastly, the empathy. And that's the ability to connect with other people. The ability to be a good friend, to be loyal, to be honest, to be trustworthy. To have internal energies that are reflective of your nature. that due to that can connect you to other people that are like-minded. Those are the three major attributes. There are more attributes and more things to consider when dealing with magic, but those are the three major attributes. Obviously the most important quality is the aspect of belief. Without that, you have nothing. Anyways, let's continue on with the story. A little girl gazed out the window at the scenery outside as it rained. Watching the girl, her mother called to her. Actually, now we could continue on with this, but for full story description, I just remembered I was about to go ahead and read this whole story out to you guys. If you guys want more of the stories in depth, then you need to follow Dark Magician on YouTube, Dark Magician Girl on YouTube, or the Duel Academy channels on YouTube, which can all be found on this channel's main page profile. So we're gonna skip past this actually, because the main aim right now is just to quickly develop this deck so you guys can see. I showed you guys already how the Kung Fu deck works. It's very, very consistent. There's 4 separate strategies put into the deck. That in a way will mostly slow down most decks, because there's too much happening. But we found a way to synchronize these combos. There's 4 different archetypes in the deck, but 2 of those archetypes work together very strongly and very smoothly, so that it's almost 3 archetypes. But yeah, one of which is a protection, one of which is a banishment, one of which is a multi-strike attack, and the last but not least is the ultimate attack. The strongest thing I can do is make sure to bring out the Phoenix and get his attack points up to 4,800. That is literally my strongest monster. Then from there we can and you can't attack my other Neptese monsters, whatever, but he can't be destroyed, he can't be targeted. So we're not even gonna read this, we're gonna skip past this. You guys can get this again with the main profile. Alright, so you're gonna go like this. And let's see. They're gonna force us to win this duel right now. Let's see, these are water fairies. We got the water painter Snow. We got the sun. And we got the rain. Alright, so we're gonna activate Valhalla. Wow, I had to go in that spot. Anyways, so now that we activated Valhalla, we're gonna use it again to special summon Rain. Sadly, I had a cat named Rain. Wait, what? Now I can use the sun using the transformation. Celestial transformation. Do I attribute a monster? No? 2 level 3s. Wow. Normal summon. Oh, okay. I almost exceed right there. They were calling for it. Activate the effect. So I got 3 level 3s. You get the weather, rainy canvas. Use the effects to take advantage of and make sure your duel continues in the favor before you prepare to link summon. Now that you have 3 weather monsters, try link summon. Why I thought it was Xyz. There's Xyz in here, but that's not what it is. Alright, so we go 1, 2, 3. Now I'm assuming this is a boss monster, so it should come with summoning animation. Yep. Okay. That was okay. It was decent. But we really could care less for that type of... I mean, it was okay. It wasn't a terrible strategy. But that's that. So what we want to ultimately do, right? We want to be able to... pardon. We want to be able to... Pardon me. Excuse me, guys. Update available. It brought us back to the title. Pardon me. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what this update is, but something just changed. Dark Magician and not background. That's saying something. That was, initially on this account, that was our most broken deck, Dark Magician. But I won't lie, I got tired of winning so much that I had to stop using that deck. It really got to the point. You guys can see. Look on the YouTube account. It's just way too many. It's just sad, man. And there's a lot of forfeits, so we don't really like the forfeits like that. There's a lot of forfeits, right? But let me just show you guys what I'm talking about. So we got here, we go to Tim. This deck is slightly insane. Now it's interesting because I use this deck and I do pretty damn good with it. I'm almost always in victory, counter everything. But this is 60 cards, man. You know, in most cases, Dragoon is the win condition. If it gets too crazy, Dragoon is the win condition. If not Dragoon, Black Crystal Soldier. But yeah, for the most part, that's the win condition. We wanted to add in this card, so I modified my deck with adding in that and this. That might have slowed down my deck and made it to where now this deck could lose. But I still doubt that. This deck is really insane. It's mostly spell cards over everything else, but all of the spells are search cards or cards that lead to search cards, right? So yeah. What we gotta do is come to solo. For whatever reason, they stopped us from doing that fight. We'll come here. We completed this, but we didn't collect our we didn't let them know that we completed it. Justice from Light. We can check to see if that gave us a free pack, but it didn't. Not only is that, but it's not even something that we would want. Enlightenment Dragon. Not really. Judgment Dragon fuses with some other dragon. Oh, Judgment and Punishment. Last one, Dragonling, which is this nigga. All right. Anyways, no, we don't want that. So this is an extended story, the World Chalice. We will eventually get to those, but we have not gotten it yet. So for right now, what we're gonna do one duel. Let's see if we can change decks. Let's see if it will allow us. No, because we don't have the cards for this deck. Alright, we don't have these. We don't have those. See? Cannot be used. So, we don't have the cards for that deck. We'll just play one duel real quick, and then after that, we'll get off the live stream for a little bit. And we'll catch you guys next time. Make sure you subscribe to Stoner Gamer Girl on YouTube. Also follow her on Twitch at Stoner Gamer Girl 04. Alright, so tomorrow's forecast is sunny. That's what we're facing. Alright, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna win in one turn. Alright, does that sound fair? Hopefully that does. The Sanctuary. Battle damage to the controller of a fairy monster from a battle involving that monster becomes 0. So as long as you have a fairy, you won't take any damage. You have a face down card. Alright. I don't like none of that crap that you just did. So first things first, we are going to special summon. Yes, Lord. Next, we are going to special summon again. Alright, we're going to link summon, take Vishuda, and bring him into the monk. Alright, so what we do know is, we know the effects of these cards. Alright, we know what this card can do. Once per turn during the standby phase of the turn after this card was banished from the field. Okay. To activate a weather effect, you can special summon this banished card. So if you banish this card for a weather effect, you can bring it back. Now this face down card, we don't know what that is. It could be a weather effect that banishes a card. So we're gonna get rid of Vishuda. Send that card back to his hand. So now you can't use that effect. Alright, that shit is nullified. Next, we want to special summon Saruya. We could normal summon the Phoenix, the Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys. We could bring it out right now. But instead, we're going to use the pre-preparation of rites. Get the ritual spell. Now here's the thing. I wonder why we are not able to search for this monster. It says you can ritual summon this card with Rebirth of Nephthys. All of them say that. So why am I not able to use this? Alright, we want to just look into this effect. We're still going to win this turn, but I just want this thing to make a little bit more sense. Alright, add one ritual spell from your deck to your hand, and add one ritual monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand whose name is mentioned on that ritual spell. Aha. So this card's name is not mentioned on this spell. That's why. Okay. I'm lucky that it even has those, because this shit says it could summon any Nephthys ritual monster. So I'm lucky. Alright, anyways, if we go with this, then we can activate the effect. Special summon one Nephthys monsters from your deck. Also during the end phase, destroy this card. If this card is into the graveyard, no, if this card is in the graveyard, you can destroy one Nephthys card from your hand if you just summon this card. Alright, so the thing is this could bring out another Nephthys monster from the deck. This, during your main phase, you could destroy Nephthys monsters. Wait, so I used this before and I could not pop. Oh, you could destroy your opponent's monsters. So this right here, alright, look, let me show you something. We never went for this strategy before, alright? But we're gonna do it though. I used this card, I just never went for the strategy. Let me show you something. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna bring out Nephthys by tributing the sacred Phoenix of Nephthys to summon Cerulean Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys. Alright, now this card can currently use its effect. Finally. During the same phase, after this card battled the special summoner. Alright, so what we want to do is, alright, want to practice that Phoenix strategy. Now we could kill him one turn. Let me see what we got right here. So we could go for this right now. And it won't be able to be destroyed by a battle. But we definitely want to max out. We want to max out this. We want to get all three of them. So this is going to be my first time actually doing that. Let's see if we can get that off. Let's see if we can get that off. So the first thing we're going to have to do is, it says during your main phase, alright, we're gonna do that. So we pop our card to pop his card. We never normal summon, right? So we play our field card. We get rid of the Sacred Soul. We normal summon. We get that quick play spell. Now, right now, we can't do anything. But once we add this to our hand, we can. And that's game. So we're gonna end this right here, right now. But just know when we come back, we will show you guys how to actually build that magician deck. Want to have some powerful mage work going on. Mix the red with the white. And so we can make this nigga and kill him. We can make this nigga. It really don't make a difference. We'll go with this. Just because it has a summoning animation, you know, and like, why not? But that's that. We definitely took our time and cruised that out, but you know, as you can see, it's like pretty consistent. It can pull into various strategies very easily, like very easily. Wow, this is funny. So because it's the rainbow thing, it takes every energy. That's funny as hell. I'm not even gonna lie. However, we do not want these battles. We're good enough. We'll come back and do that at the next one. I told you guys. Alright. So let's come back over here. Alright, make sure you subscribe to Stone and Gamer Girl once again. Make sure you tap in, subscribe, man. I need to see the subscriptions going all the way up. If not, I challenge you to a duel right now. Alright, let's get it. Anyways, we love y'all, man. Enjoy the rest of y'all day. Stay blessed, stay strong, love each other. Alright, we out of here.